Hey guys, this is Maliha from the site blogger, and I have a video today where I want to show you how to jazz up your screenshots with Canva. So what do I mean by that? I have a couple of blog posts here, and let me show you. Whenever you are sharing something like a screenshot in your blog posts, um, there are a couple of different ways to make it not look so bland and blah. So here's an example of a blah screenshot. Like this is a screenshot. I don't know if you can see, hopefully. Makes sense. This is an article I wrote on my blog, the site blogger, about how to start, using Medium as a writer. And I have some screenshots there because I was walking people through, how to open your accounts on Medium, how to use Medium, etc., etc. And so I have a bunch of screenshots here, like this is a screenshot, this is a screenshot, this is a screenshot. But see, the problem is that they're all kind of blended into together. Like this is actual text on the blog post, and this is the screenshot, and this is text again, and then this is a screenshot. But it's kind of hard to tell where the text ends and the screenshot begins, or when the screenshot ends and where the text begins. It's like all kind of smushed together, and it's okay. I don't think it looks too bad, but it's just hard to tell. Like it's not visually distinctive or appealing, which makes, I think, the reading experience a little bit more difficult. Like this one, for example, it's really hard to tell that it's actually a screenshot. Like this is the text, and then the text ends here, and then this is a screenshot, and then the text begins again. So yeah, that's how some screenshots look. Or at least in my website, this is how I used to do screenshots, and I see this in many other websites as well. Compare that to how I've been doing recently. So this is one of my latest blog posts, and this too has a bunch of screenshots, like this one, for example. And see, this is very easy to tell that this is a screenshot, that this is an image at least. Like this is where the text ends, this is the screenshot, and then if I go down again, this is another screenshot, an image that I made with multiple screenshots actually. So this is a screenshot, and you have like all of this stuff. And so now I think my screenshots look a lot better than they used to before. Like this is before, and this is now. It's very clearly recognizable that this is an image. And then I have a few others, and I've also kind of branded the screenshots. As you can see, like the background is this grid paper image, and then the screenshot, the actual screenshot, is actually sitting on top of the grid paper image. And then I have texts, I have arrows, etc., etc. I have a little nice shadow work going behind the actual screenshots. So this is how I'm doing screenshots these days, and in today's video I kind of wanted to show you how to spice up your screenshots using Canva, because as you can see, it increases or improves your readability and also just user experience when you can clearly see what a screenshot image, or not necessarily screenshot, but you should be able to tell that this is an image, as opposed to this one, for example, where it's just hard to tell that this is an image. You have to like constantly think about it. And this one, you don't have to think about it. Your brain automatically recognizes that, oh, this is an image. So that's what we want to do today. So let me go to Canva, and I will create a new design. And when I'm creating these screenshots, I actually like to start with a website template. And the reason is that sometimes my screenshots are kind of small, and other times the screenshots can be kind of long. And if I have like a static design that's a specified width and length, then it can become a little cumbersome working with them within Canva, as opposed to a website which is responsive. So when you're designing with a website template in Canva, the width remains the same, but the height actually is responsive. So instead of resizing, or instead of having to resize your design all the time, all you have to do is just kind of click on your editor, and then this handle will show up. And then if you want to just make it longer, just click this handle, hold it, and drag your mouse until it gets longer. See? Pretty easy, right? Alright, so that's why I like working with the website template whenever I'm working with screenshots, because of this flexible height thing, like so. Alright, so now let's see, for example, how I made this something like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's see, make it a little smaller. And then I'll go to elements, and then I'll search for grid paper. And you don't have to use grid paper, obviously. You can, choose something else, like something like this pattern maybe, I don't know. This could be your background. Maybe give it some transparency so it's not sticking out so much, like so. And this could just be your background. Or you could search for something like grids, grid paper, and then choose photos, because graphics, you don't want the graphics as your background, that kind of messes with the design. So I usually go for photo backgrounds, and then you can kind of choose from one of these, maybe something like this. Makes it a nice little paper thing. Or you can go over any of these and find a pattern that you like. So I want to keep the background nice, but not too distractive. Like I don't want people to get distracted by the background. I want people to pay attention to the actual screenshot that I will be using. So maybe pick something that's not too busy, actually. So maybe something like this. And if it's still, if it feels like you can see the grids too much, you can also add some transparency to it to make it a little more, to make it even less distracting, which is kind of nice. I mean, you still get the nice background, which is not just white, plain white. And so that's another way. Or you can just use plain color too, like something simple color, like a beigeish color, like something like this maybe. That works too. I mean, if you think that an image background is too distracting your readers too much, then you can just go with a plain color. I've seen both done, and I have enjoyed both. I've tried both myself in my blog, but let's just go with a grid paper background for this tutorial, something like this. And I just added some transparency. Okay, so that's looking nice. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but I can still see the grids, just not too busy, not too loud. It's just very subtle right now, which is what I like. So now let's find a screenshot. I actually uploaded a bunch of screenshots earlier this month, and I'm just going to use one of these. So maybe something like this. Okay, I was doing some kind of AI related something so I have this screenshot from Perplexity, so let's just use that. And so this is the screenshot, and let's see, it looks good, but again, see, if you just leave it like that, it kind of blends into the background, which becomes a bit of a problem, because again, the idea is to make them nice, make them clear that these are screenshots. So you want to add things that separates the background from the screenshot on top of it. So what I do is I like to add some shadows, very subtle shadows, not too distracting. So to add shadows in an image in Canva, you just simply select the image by clicking it, then go to Edit, and then from under Effects, click Shadows, and then I like to use the glow shadow, which kind of adds like a soft glow around the whole of the image. So let's click that, and boom, as you can see, it already added some nice shadows, but it's a little too heavy for me. It's a little too distracting. Now it depends on your personal choice, kind of taste. So you may like the deep shadow thing, that's fine, but personally I like to make it even more subtle. So I scroll down on the left panel right here where you can see some shadow related options and handles like the size, blur amount, intensity, and color. So what I like to do is I like to go down in size. In fact, I like to go all the way to 0. So, which means that there's still some shadow, but it's just really, really small. So 0 is fine. Blur amount, I will do something like 20 maybe. And these changes are pretty subtle at this point, but I don't know, I like it. And the color, instead of pure black, which is the default, I want to add something like a grayish to make it even more subtle. And then you can play around with intensity too, but I like how it looks right now. It has that distinctive quality to it, so the shadow, you know, brings up the image. It creates an illusion that the image is slightly above the background, which is what I want, but it's not too much. It's, you know, it's not too loud, which is my personal choice. I like when it's subtle, so that's what I do. And you can move it around if you want to, but yeah. Okay, and let's see. My Canva is stuck right now. This happens sometimes when I'm working. My internet messes up every now and then, but it looks like it's working now, so it's fine. I don't think it's Canva, I think it's my internet. My internet has been really spotty lately. But yeah, that's how it is. And then you can even add more things, like you can add text. And if you have a stylus is basically a pen that you can use in touchscreen screens to add things. And I often like to, I can do it right now because I'm on my desktop and I don't have a touchscreen desktop, which is, I typically don't like touchscreens. But sometimes I do it in my phone if I want to, or I have another laptop that actually has a touchscreen. But what I do is I go to Tools, and then I can add arrows and things like that. So if I go back to one of my blog posts, see these arrows and these circles, these are actually all hand drawn. Now you can use built-in stuff too, like Canva's element library has arrows and things like that, so you can search for arrow and then you can kind of go through these arrows and find one that you like. Let's say this one is kind of nice, like so. Okay, so yeah, you can actually find arrows that you like and play around with it. Or if you have a stylus, then you can use a stylus to actually hand draw it yourself. So for example, I'm going to try and attempt to draw an arrow with my mouse, which doesn't really work usually, but you know, I'm just gonna try. Let's pick a dark color. And let's say I want to bring my reader's attention to this this header that says 50 mid-sized newsletters. So what I'll do is I'll just I'll choose the tools and then I'll choose the pen size. I like the marker. It's slightly thicker. You can also choose the really thin one, but I like this one. And I'll just draw an arrow like that. oh, that actually isn't so bad. I thought it was going to be difficult drawing with my mouse, but it turned out pretty well actually. So yeah, you can play around with this type of arrows. You can draw them if you want and play around with them like so. And then you can add text. You can even write text if you, like I said, if you have a stylus, you can actually hand write texts. If you have an iPad or some kind of tablet, drawing tablet or whatever. Or if you don't have that, you can just because writing with a mouse is more difficult than drawing an arrow. So I'm not even gonna try. I'll just use a text box, and I'll say this is a screenshot of a list of newsletters that run ads. Perplexity. Okay, so that looks good. And then you can kind of, switch it around, make sure to use fonts that you like so. Maybe make it a little bigger so people can read it. Like so. Okay, so this is looking good, and so that's it. That's how I create my screenshots and kind of spice it up, as opposed to just taking screenshots and adding them without doing any of that, which can be kind of bland and boring, like this one right here. This is boring, but with a little bit of work like this, you can spice up your screenshots and make it look cool, like this one or this one. And that's it. That's my video for today. Quick little Canva tutorial for how I spice up my screenshots for my blog posts using Canva. That's it, and I will see you with a different video some other time. Bye.